For first place here in the United Shore Professional Baseball League. This game presented by Balfour here tonight. It's another good pitching matchup, and we're excited to see Ty Hensley on the bump again here today.
How can you not be excited about Ty Hensley? He's been dominant so far this season. Last time out, maybe not his best outing, but still everything's relative, right? He still went out there, won the ball game. He's 5-0. He's got a 1.12 or something. He's really been carving up the league so far, so excited to see him again.
Now look at last night, the Beavers and the Mammoths, a 3-1 victory overall for the Beavers. Xavier Warren got it going with a bat, a home run, and a double. He's really starting to kind of sink into his role, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you can see why he was thought of so highly by Milwaukee. A real professional at bat at the plate. He's got a short, compact swing, but the ball explodes off his bat. He's going to be a nice piece in the middle of that Beavers order that they can build around now going forward.
On the other end as well, A.J. Coleman for the Beavers with a pretty good start. And we look at these pitchers and see the adjustments unfold, and I'm sure we'll see the same from Ty Hensley here today. Yes, only one earned run, but even he admitted he was a little sloppy in that fourth inning after his offense got 9 and 14 batters. And he said, hey, look, it's a learning experience. You know, you don't see that too often. If he does move on, you know, at some point with a professional offense, maybe he sees that too.
May as well work out the kinks now, and what a great sign for him going forward that he considers that to be a bad outing. You know, one earned run, and he struck out 3 guys, which is not his normal kind of an outing as far as dominance. But that's a great sign if you're trying to eliminate those type of outings. You know, there's no more implosions, there's no more, no more injuries. Knock on wood. He's just trying to stay at that high level that we've seen mostly this year as much as possible.
The Unicorns have struggled with the offense at times. It's been the dynamic pitching, and kind of talking to Jim Essian and some of the likes here today, it's possible we do see Don Goodson and Nolan Clenny kind of back-to-back in that setup closer role. And your opposing offenses, when you already have good starting pitching and you have 2 guys in the back end, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, that's really scary. I wouldn't want to see them roll out something like that if I were facing the Unicorns. Now, a little bit of a different challenge tonight, maybe. The Hoppers have had a pretty good, consistent offense so far, maybe the most consistent in the league. They have the most veteran hitters, so yeah, this is a really good matchup. I mean, that's why they're slugging it out for first place. I think one's maybe a little stronger offensive club than the other, but it's tough to beat that hand that they're playing with Ty Hensley tonight.
Let's take a peek at the starting lineups brought to you by AAA here today. First for the visiting Eastside Diamond Hoppers here tonight, it's the shortstop Anthony Mazzelli. Jordan Pontius will follow along with Mahalik, Gray, and Warren in the heart of the order for Paul Nochi here today. Josh Goulet back in there again, everyday Goulet, as we call him, batting 6th. Nate Grice, Jalen Smith, and Greg Vaughn Jr. to face Ty Hensley here tonight. On the other end for the home Utica Unicorns, the defending champions here in the USPBL, it's the second baseman Adam De La Cruz leading it off once again. Coley Curry, Nick Snyder, and Frankie Luska behind him. Luska with only 1 hit after his 3-hit performance in Game 1. They expect him to find it, though, here today as well. Ross Haffey, Ashton Bardzell, Derek Hurt following, and Malik Blaze and Jordan Finney will face Zane Collins here today. Kid of the game, sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan here today. Emma Clancy, 6 years old, out of Atwood Elementary. So thanks to Emma's family for submitting that entry here today. And we certainly encourage you to enter your child for Kid of the Game, sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan here today. Now time for Dan Griesbaum Jr.'s keys to the game. What do you got?
I only have one.
Oh.
It's Ty Hensley. If he's on his game and he is dominating in the manner that he has been for most of his starts this year, I don't think the rest of it's going to matter. We have talked about how the Unicorns could use a little bit more offense. I think Frankie Luska, it's small sample size, but he's probably been the best guy lately in that lineup. If he can keep that up, that might give them a little bit of a boost, but it's very possible that they may only need to score 1 to win this game, especially if Ty's relieved by Goodson and Clenny, like you mentioned, could be a possibility. This could be a low-scoring ballgame.
Yeah, we've seen some big innings, certainly, that's led to some offensive explosions and to victories. Ultimately, for these teams so far this season, maybe it's more of the 1-0, 2-0, like Dan said. We'll see on the flip side here of the break. We'll have your pitcher comparison, a little bit deeper dive into these starters' numbers, brought to you by Denso when we get back here on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
The Chevy Trax from your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers has a sporty, compact design that makes it the perfect SUV for everywhere you like to roll. Lease a 2020 Trax LT front-wheel drive for just $222 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Jeremy Adel alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring you the call here tonight. Tonight's broadcast presented by Balfour and brought to you by these fine sponsors here tonight as well. AAA, Ascension, Detroit Medical Center, DTE Energy, Dunham Sports, Dunkin' Donuts, Green for Life, Green Path, Jimmy John's, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Summit Oral, and United Shore. We thank all those fine partners for their presentation of this broadcast here tonight. Now time to take a look at your pitching matchup brought to you by Denso. There's Ty Hensley. Didn't have the best of starts to his standard, but still only gave up one earned run the last time out. Look at that greeting he's got.
Yeah, the key phrase that you said was to his standard, right? You know, it's maybe he toughed through that fourth inning a little bit, you know, more than we've seen in the past. He's been very, very smooth, if not perfect, in every other inning besides that one to this point. So that was a little bit unusual. Velocity maybe a little bit down. Command maybe not quite as perfect as the other times out, but we'll see what he brings tonight. I will say he's facing a different lineup for the first time. He has not faced the Hoppers yet. They're battling it out for first place tonight, so we'll get a little different look.
Zane Collins, on the other hand, 3-1 in the win-loss. They're looking to make a few mechanical tweaks with Zane to try to get that fastball velocity to where it was last year. I mean, he was topping out at 88, averaging around 85 this year, and they just want to get that fastball command back.
Yeah, and at times I think he's been a little below that too. It's going to be important. You know, he's got some deception. He comes over the top. He's got a little bit of a hitch in his motion, so there's some deception there. If he can pick up his fastball a little bit, it'll make a difference. But he's been competitive so far. He's a high-energy, competitive guy, and he's going to get wins. He's going to get people out.
Yeah, Paul Nochi says he's one of the top competitors in this league, and for a guy who certainly knows baseball, well, that's a big compliment.
Definitely. Coming from a guy who played for Billy Martin.
Yeah.
He knows competitive people, right?
Zane Collins will be throwing to Xavier Warren here today, and that's a guy they want to get some more catching reps. Maybe that's why we see him kind of float to the Hoppers lineup here today. Started as a taxi squad guy. He's been kind of a primary Beaver, though.
Yeah, the Hoppers need a catcher at this point. So, but that's why Warren makes a lot of sense as a taxi squad guy. He can play different positions. Of course, everyone would love to have him in the lineup, and it makes sense to plug him in here and there where needed.
A reminder, you can chime in on both Facebook and YouTube with your comments. If you have a question for Dan or I throughout the game, you can ask it right there as well. And be sure to filter in on some of those contests. The player of the game contest, certainly who's going to win this game as well. We've seen a little of those come in so far. Steve Ghostley says Eastside 4, Utica 2 here this afternoon.
That's a gutsy choice going against the ace pitcher.
So we'll see what Ty Hensley has in store here today. I guess one storyline, this is his first start against the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. We've seen a lot of these pitchers pitch the same team over and over again.
Right.
So that can be certainly advantage hitter if you continually see those guys over and over again. But for Ty Hensley, maybe it goes two ways here today. What do you think direction that'll head?
I think he just needs to pitch his game. You know, I think when his game is on, he's going to get anybody out, and I think it's going to be really hard for the Hoppers the first time seeing him. So if he pitches his game, I think he's going to be fine.
And most of the time, when you talk to a guy like Ty Hensley or even his counterpart on the other side, Zane Collins, those two in particular don't focus much on who's in the batter's box. They're working through their things. They know what pitch they want to throw for the most part. They have pretty good rhythm with these catchers. Ty Hensley has complimented whoever has caught him, which has mostly been Nolan Finney and Antonio Torres to this point, but a guy like Xavier Warren is going to handle him just fine, I think.
Yeah, Finney and Torres, they're fine catchers. Warren, obviously, a guy with some affiliated ball experience, like Ty's hoping to get to, and I would expect them to be a good team.
Now the Unicorns and the Hoppers going at it next year on the USPBL Network. First pitch when we get back.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats. Veterans and active military may keep your hats on while reclaiming your
They called it the 1,000-year flood. They were having homes and businesses flooded, and the roads were being washed out.
My entire house is going to be flooded. Okay, do you have a second story?
A lot of fear that we were going to lose a lot of people. When we heard the police station was flooded, we immediately gave them our command center to operate out of.
Belfour was our savior. Sheldon and his team restored 25 of our businesses and more than 1,500 residences.
At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
Suds on Mound offers plenty of options to get your laundry done. Clean, convenient, and with clear, low pricing. No confusing cards to load or upcharges for hot water, like the other guys. We operate with quarters for one price washes with maximum water settings to get your clothes cleaner, faster. We offer 61 machines, including 3 80-pound washers, the largest in production. Suds on Mound offers self-service, wash, dry, and fold service, and we can even service entryway rugs and king-size down-filled comforters. Washes can be done as fast as 16 minutes. Our Speed Queen machines are the only brand still made in America, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Hi, I'm Jason from Suds on Mound. Come on in, we'll get you clean. All right, Ruby, you're all set.
Mention this ad for 10% off your wash, dry, and fold service.
Now, Ty Hensley on the bump here today. Take a look at his numbers, sponsored by Denso. 18 innings, 2 runs given up thus far this season. 6 walks to 28 strikeouts so far. Or 2 earned runs, I should say. 2 runs in total is not correct, but let's copy that down wrong. But overall, a really good start for Ty Hensley.
Yeah, 31 Ks over 24 innings. He's really been nothing short of dominant for the most part. Hate to keep building him up that way. You know, it's you're not going to dominate like that night in, night out in professional baseball, but between his fastball that can creep up to the mid-90s and his breaking ball, which has got a tremendous amount of spin and movement, it's not an easy assignment for the Hoppers or for anybody.
So the correct run total, 6 runs allowed, 3 earned so far this season.
And I think all 3 of the unearned were in that one long inning, right?
Correct. Yep, 4 runs in total, just 1 earned at the end of his last start. July 23rd, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs. So that was an outing where he threw 12 Ks in that game, threw 102 pitches. So coming off that start, we thought we'd see something very similar. And it was a dominant first 3 innings last start for Ty. I mean, 1 base runner. It was a leadoff single in the second. Got a 1-2-3 after that. Got another 1-2-3 inning. And then the long inning by his offense that sent 14 batters to the plate and scored 9 runs 40 minutes later. Found himself coming off the long layoff. Anthony Maselli, Jordan Pontius, and Riley Mahalik, your Zach Hart Agency 3 men on deck. First pitch at 7:05 p.m. in for strike one.
Really a significant part of the Hoppers offense flows through Maselli and also Zach Gray. Just Maselli getting on base, Gray knocking him in. They've just been having a nice season.
0-1 pouring in at 92 down low. 76 degrees here in Utica, Michigan. A wind of 7 miles per hour, barely whipping that flag in right center field here tonight. Here's the 1-1. Down low at 90. The fastball has been averaging around 91 so far this season for Ty Hensley. And get it up as high as 96. They would like to see him get up to that point a little bit more. They know it's in this right-handed arm. Certainly shown it in the past. 2-1. Changeup at 89 for strike two.
That would almost be unfair if he was really living at 95, 96 combined with that breaking ball that he throws. It'd be awfully hard to fight that off as a hitter.
Waiting on the 2-2. Popped him up. Haffey along with Finney going over, and they run out of real estate. Here's the rest of the defensive alignment for the Unicorns. It's Hurt in left, Curry in center, Bardzell in right, Haffey over at third for the second consecutive night. It's Blaze at short, De La Cruz at second, Snyder at first, and we told you Finney completing the battery here tonight.
Haffey's got to feel like a big leaguer at this point. He's been playing every day.
All right. They want him to get some more consistent ABs outside at 90 with the fastball. So good job by Maselli to work the count. He's done that all year long. Full count delivery. Line to right field. Bardzell straight into the sun.
He's a good leadoff hitter. In a lot of ways, he really did his job up there. He didn't get on base, but he saw 6 pitches, took a good swing, hit the ball hard. He's having a nice season so far from that leadoff spot.
Here's Jordan Pontius now, off to a 5 for 34 start. Strikeouts haven't been a huge issue. I mean, his walks to strikeouts are almost even, so he's making contact, just not able to get him to drop so far.
He's probably the guy in the lineup that, maybe is on the bottom side as far as bat speed and pop. If he's going to be successful, he needs to be a guy that gets on base, definitely continues to make contact at a high rate.
A 172 average on batted balls in play, which usually turns itself around at some point.
Yeah, that's, in a certain way, it sounds strange, but in a certain way, that's probably a good sign. Chances are going forward, he's going to get more balls to drop than he has up until this point.
Here's the 1-1, low. That stat works on the flip side, though, as well. If you're hitting 450 on batted balls in play, unless you have a high line drive rate, that's likely going to even itself out as well.
Sure.
Tim Anderson is a guy like that last year in the big leagues who hit really high on batted balls in play, but he's only a career 280 hitter.
Right.
So, I mean, you think about it, he did it throughout a whole season, but will that continue? Numbers will say no. We'll see.
Yeah, most people would tell you no.
Here's the even pitch now. Forked off the curveball at 80. That one's fouled off. Talked to Ty Hensley before the game here today. I liked his quote. His dad always tells him, don't forget what got you to the show, and that's your curveball.
Right.
Here's the 2-2. Not show literally in big leagues, as Pontius is going to reach on the drop third strike here. I think that Finney thought that one may have been nicked.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like Pontius might have thought it was too. He sort of hesitated. Well, you can chalk it up as a strikeout, technically.
Now Riley Mahalik, your 3-hole hitter, will come up here. But Ty Hensley told the same thing to Luke Dawson before his starts a couple days ago for the Unicorns. And maybe that's why we saw so many sliders that were so effective.
That could be.
For Dawson. Hensley was a guy that watched Dawson quite a bit on video before he got here. Obviously, he's a returner to some extent here to the USPBL as well. Both these guys are.
But really, the effectiveness of the slider has an awful lot to do with the fastball. You're not going to get anybody to chase that slider unless you're throwing a fair amount of fastballs.
And Hensley acts just like that. I mean, we'll discuss it a little bit later with Nolan Clenny if he comes in as well. He's a mentor in this league at 26 years old. Been to the minor leagues. This one popped up to right, again straight into the sun. Barzell getting his money's worth here in the first inning for out number 2. Here comes Zach Gray, one of your better hitters in the USPBL. 303 in the average column through 33 at bats so far. 11 walks to 11 Ks as well, and that was even better. 2 games ago, he just had that high strikeout game.
Even so, he's approaching the 500 mark with his on-base percentage.
First pitch low and inside.
I think that's the top fastball we've seen so far at 93.
Ty Hensley said as much. If he feels good after the first inning today, he's going to try to air it out a little bit more than he has. I mean, he's to that point. I mean, you're talking about your 6th start here. He's already passed that 100-pitch threshold as well. This one popped up to De La Cruz. Squeezes it for out number 3 here in the first inning. So technically, he could have gotten through this 1-2-3 if not for the drop third strike. Gets a fly out and a pop out after that. Ty Hensley looking good again here on the USPBL network.
Fans, we now ask that you turn your attention to the first base line for a recognition of tonight's guests of honor, members of the Macomb County Fire Department. Tonight, we honor these first responders.
Now down to Chelsea Estes here.
In the Macomb community. The cities in attendance tonight are Shelby Township, Clinton Township.
All right, everyone, tonight is a very special night. It is Firefighter Appreciation Night brought to you by Bell Ford. Tonight we're going to recognize some really amazing guests of honor. They are members of the Macomb County Fire Department. The representatives serving tonight's departments are Shelby Township, Clinton Township, Utica, St. Clair Shores, Port Huron, Sterling Heights, Macomb Township, Roseville, and Memphis. So at home, make sure you give them a big round of applause. Everyone's on their feet here, recognizing these amazing heroes. Jeremy and Dan, back to you guys.
Thanks, Chelsea. Cool moment here at Jimmy John's Field. First responders night, and obviously we'd love to have a packed crowd to cheer those guys on as well.
Definitely. Wish we could have had, 4,000 giving them a standing ovation instead of 100.
Adam De La Cruz, Kaylee Curry, Nick Snyder. Your Zach Hart Agency 3-men due up here in the first inning. Adam De La Cruz back in that leadoff spot for Jim Essian's squad. I talked to Jim before today's game about Adam in that spot, and he said for now that's where we're going to put him. Maybe it's shaken up a little bit as a couple of these guys come in from the tryout over the next week or two.
Well, he is leading the club in on-base percentage so far, so it's working out. That's the key thing with your leadoff man. You just want somebody who's going to get on base.
Coley Curry kind of started in that leadoff spot this season for Jim Essian's squad.
Derek hurt a little bit, but right at the beginning, but hasn't really gotten on base consistently enough to stay in that spot.
So Zane Collins today, we told you a little bit in the open, they want him to tighten up that delivery a little bit. Justin Orndorff thinks he's a little bit too coiled up, which causes him to release that fastball high and release it outside, almost like he's kind of pushing it, right, is what he's talking about?
I believe so. You know, Justin's really the genius when it comes to that stuff, certainly more so than I am. But, you know, really Zane Collins is a guy that relies on deception at this point, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're trying to find some ways to smooth out his mechanics and get him going, a little cleaner toward home plate and pick up his velocity a little bit. It really hasn't been, he's never going to be like Ty Hensley, but they believe he can get a few more miles per hour. Being at 83, 84 is not really where they expected him to be.
And they think, with his solid off-speed pitches, slider, changeup, curve, that if he gets that up a couple ticks more, he can be extremely effective. So here's a situation where almost all the body of Zane Collins is in the shadows, and we've seen this before. It can be a really tough backdrop for these hitters. 2-0 is away.
He's already a tough ball to pick up just with the hitch in his motion and the way he comes over the top.
There it is. The shadow, that is. 3-0 is popped foul. Pretty good swing by De La Cruz, an 84-mile-per-hour fastball. So you'll see the fastball the most, the changeup, and then the curve and the slider are interchangeable in terms of percentage and pitches, 12% on each end. 3-1, line drive to center. Vaughn going back on that one, carrying to the wall and can't get it. De La Cruz has got speed, hits the second base bag, and will stay there in the end.
He earned a double on that, but that ball could have been caught. Vaughn made a nice drop step going back on that ball. He was there, just couldn't quite corral it. But certainly not a cheap double by any means either.
Get a second look at it on our YouTube monitor. Vaughn started in, then had to go back and, kind of rolled off the inside. They did rule it a hit on the board.
I would agree, certainly.
Coley Curry, the center fielder, will stride in. 9 for 39 start for Coley so far this season. First pitch bounces as Warren is going to have to go to his right. And an easy advance for De La Cruz here.
Well, great opportunity here for the Unicorns to get that lead. We talked about they may only need a run or two today and can certainly get one right now. Infield playing back.
1-0 on the ground first base side. Gray.
He probably hit it in the one spot that wasn't going to score that RBI. Gray was playing a little bit in, and he came in on that ball pretty quickly. And with nobody out, you don't want to challenge him there.
Certainly, Zach, one of the sure-handed defenders here in the USPBL as well. Nick Snyder, a guy with some pop in this right-handed bat, looks for another RBI here. Is Warren doing a good job of at least getting some kind of piece of that one, and De La Cruz will hold. Check the Hoppers defense. It's Grimes in left, Vaughn Jr. in center, Goulet in right, Smith at third, Maselli at short, Pontius at second, and Gray over at first. Fouled off.
He tied him up inside a little bit there. I think that's what Collins really needs to do, especially with right-handers. Try to get it in on their hands a little bit more.
Swing and a miss. Got Snyder to a 2-strike count here in the first. Frankie Lusky, your Zach Hart agency man on deck. Ross Haffey to follow. 3, 4, 5 in Jim Essian's lineup here tonight. 2-strike pitch, swing and a miss over top. That 78-mile-per-hour slider.
That's a big strikeout there. Whenever you got a man on third base with one out, if you can get yourself a strikeout, it greatly improves your chances of getting out of the inning.
9 walks compared to 13 strikeouts coming into play today. 2.81 ERA. His defenders have helped him out quite a bit this year as well in Zane Collins, as this one is outside. And you need that for a guy that is going to be less high strikeout and more pitch to contact type guy.
Definitely.
Swing and a miss.
As I mentioned earlier, Frankie Lesko's going to be a key for this offense going forward. Guy in the middle of the order who makes pretty good contact, has some pop in his bat.
Snaps a slider in for ball 2. 74 miles an hour that rode outside. And not only does Lesko have some power, but he's another left-handed hitter.
Yep.
That Jim Essian's able to insert into his lineup. Back-to-back sliders there. It's a 3-1 count on Lesko now.
It's interesting speed-wise with Collins. It seems like his curveball and the slider are a very similar speed. They break a little bit differently, but very similar speed-wise.
3-1 outside with the fastball at 86. That's a 2-out walk, which will put runners on first and third. And although Haffey is only hitting 195 through 41 at-bats, you never want to extend the inning to see him because one swing can mean a 3-0 game.
Oh, certainly. Plus, you know, Lesko, a good hitter, but at least you're going lefty on lefty there. But you had the open base. Nothing hurt necessarily. But now you got to face the big right-hander.
Haffey with 1 home run this year. He hit 10 last year. Was your home run derby champion. That's next week, right?
It is, next Friday.
Home run derby and all-star game. Looking forward to that.
He'll be defending his crown.
And for strike 1 on Ross Haffey. Oh, 1 hot shot to third. Good glove by Smith. Heaves it across the diamond for out number 3. So leadoff double by De La Cruz. He reached third on the pass ball. Then the 3 unassisted by Curry. The strikeout by Snyder. The walk by Lesko. And in the end, the ground ball that went Smith to Gray and ended it. Now time for Freaky Fast Trivia, brought to you by Jimmy John's. When the alarm sounds in the firehouse,
oh boy,
how long do firefighters have to get dressed and ready to pull out of the station?
Well, some of those definitely look long to me. I'm deciding between 2 and 6. If I could phone a friend here, or if I, oh man, they got to move quick. I'm gonna go with 2 minutes. Let's go with C. 2 minutes.
Yes.
All right.
How many in a row is that now?
Maybe 4. Maybe 4 in a row.
Good stuff.
I feel like I've been poor on the doubleheader days, so we'll see if I can keep this going through Saturday.
Check the comments on Facebook and YouTube here. There's quite a few streaming in already. Elizabeth Torres thinks it's going to be a 3-2 Unicorns victory. Reed Moss is the best hitter in the USPBL. Not sure who he's referring to there. Read more in a second, but for now I want to tell you about some merchandise. USPBL.com/shop to purchase your favorite team gear today. Check out the Unicorns and the Hoppers and the Beavers and the Mammoths. If you're lucky enough to be the 100 or less in person here at Jimmy John's Field, you can always visit the merchandise shop down the right field line. I was walking past there thinking about some things I could maybe buy for some family members or myself. Always a
It's pretty good display down there.
Tammy Hurt says thank you for your service with the fire truck emoji. Absolutely. Terry King says let's go Hoppers. Our player has switched teams. Now Chandler, Arizona is rooting for the Hoppers here today. Monica Torres says watching from Diamonddale, Michigan. Go Hoppers. Not sure I know where that is, Monica. Tell us. Do you know?
I'm sorry, what was the name? Diamonddale?
Diamonddale.
Diamonddale, Michigan?
Yeah.
Really? No, I hadn't.
Or is that a play on words there with the Hoppers?
Oh, could be.
Might be. Terry King says those firemen are freaky fast. You bet. Charlotte Gray says, go Hoppers. My son Zach Gray watching from Hamilton, Ohio here today. And Griffin Holmes says, hello from downriver.
Speaking of freaky fast, it's been a minute since I've had a Jimmy John's sandwich. I feel like I'm due for one of those.
I thought about it here today. On the ground second base side, there's Pontius. Or check that. It's De La Cruz for out number 1. But you know what I went with? And I think you reaped the benefits of it.
I did.
It was Sherwood Brewing and the pickle pizza today.
Yes.
The half-off pickle pizza from Sherwood Brewing.
I'm going to be looking forward to the next rundown, a.k.a. pickle, so we can take advantage of that again.
Yeah, every pickle of the game brought to you by Sherwood Brewing. You can head there the day after and get a half-off.
I enjoyed it. I hadn't had a pickle pizza before, to be honest with you.
You were skeptical at first, I think.
was a little bit.
No, I liked it too. Some good stuff. They had some good breadsticks as well. I was able to get a nice salad to complement the meal. So
I don't know what they do in Italy, but as I mentioned, mostly Italian. I've had a lot of pizza in my life. I'd never had pickle pizza. Maybe that's a thing in Italy. I don't know. Probably not. But it was pretty good. I think they go, I don't know, maybe somebody will correct me. I think they go with like an oil instead of a tomato sauce on it. It was good.
Some dill in addition to the pickle on top as well.
I would have it again. I'm looking forward to another pickle here, and hopefully today. Are we encouraging bad base running, I guess, by rooting for that?
In for strike 2. Count even on Josh Goulet now. Good job by Hensley to retire Xavier Warren right away in the ground out.
Although Warren probably happy. I think the last time they faced each other, he struck out a few times.
2-2, swing and a miss. You could tell he had a hard time picking that ball up. The shadow has changed already. It's going away from the batter, but it's possible at this point, Dan, that ball on its way there could still get caught up in the end of it, right?
It could, yeah. That's almost worse than having a longer shadow because you just miss it for like a split second, and then you got to pick it up again. That's tough.
And when you're dealing with a fastball that can reach 95, 96, maybe in the back of your mind thinking it's going to come right at me.
Yeah, you don't get much time to make up your mind.
So Hensley admitting it was just a little sloppy in that 4th inning. Defense also committing 2 errors, so only 1 earned run. 1-0, swing and a miss.
He didn't want to throw any of his teammates under the bus, but they could have helped him out a little bit more in that inning too.
And when you go up 9-0, that can happen.
Yeah,
on both sides.
Sure. I guess technically they did help him out by scoring the 9 runs. They just didn't help him out defensively that inning.
2-1 on Grise. Grise trending upwards. 290 in the average column through 31 at bats now. Little pop flight on the right field line. Barzell and company going to run out of real estate here. Jalen Smith to follow. He's your Zach Hart Agency man on deck here in the second. And then Greg Vaughn Jr. Hensley 6'4", 245 out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Here's the 2-2. Good take.
I bet he could throw the football back in about 8 years ago.
Football, basketball, baseball for Ty Hensley.
Jim Messian was a heck of a football player in his day as well.
Was he?
Yes.
Full count delivery up top at 91. There's a 2-out walk, which he doesn't do very often.
Had a chance to play for Bo Schembechler, as I understand it.
Have to talk to him about that the next time around, his football career. Certainly knows his baseball. 1991 manager of the Chicago Cubs. Jalen Smith off to a rough start to the plate thus far. 9 for 52. Pounds the zone at 89 outside. One big highlight for him, though, was the double down the left field line to play Josh Wright, and a walk-off win for the Mammoths, 1-0 last week. Competition certainly ramping up in terms of guys battling for spots. No longer is it that, you know, the player pool isn't exactly where you want it to be in terms of the USPBL. Here's the 1-1 through the thickets of Finney there, and Gry is able to advance to second base. So to some extent, the pressure is on maybe a little bit more now than ever to perform.
I would think so. You know, as we've mentioned before, just had a tryout and identified some additional talent there that should be making its way here very soon. And you know, you got to hit to stay in the lineup. You got to throw strikes to stay in the rotation. But that's what's special. That's what's special about baseball. You got to perform day in, day out.
High pop up. That one's skied out of play, though. Waiting on the 2-2 pitch with the runner on second. That's outside.
What athlete do you think of if you see the name Jalen?
Rose?
Yes. It's my favorite basketball player when I was young and still playing basketball. Of course, I was just about my full height in 7th grade, so I wasn't that bad in 7th grade.
You could dunk, right?
Yeah, right. I never got any better after 7th grade.
What is your height?
About 5'9".
Okay. Just
yeah.
You're mostly sitting down at the table, so just want to give everybody perspective.
Yeah. 5'9", but 200 if I'm not eating a lot of pizzas. You know, if I don't watch it, I'm higher than 200.
Low-calorie cheese or something. This one outside. Greg
I
Vaughn
think pickle as a topping is probably one of your healthier toppings, I would think.
Well, veggies in general, right?
Sure.
The meat lovers, not so much, probably.
Right.
Anthony Masali, the leadoff hitter, awaiting an appearance on deck here. There's 2 walks back-to-back by Ty Hensley, and for a guy who only has 6 on the year compared to 28 strikeouts, that's kind of a wow factor if you're the Diamond Hoppers here, especially to the bottom of the order. Now the 1-1. 91 low. Not much that Vaughn Jr. could do with that. Has managed a .360 on base percentage, despite the fact that he has gone out to a 2 for 18 start. 6 walks will do that to you. 1-2 is outside at 92. Got that crowd mic extra close to the field here today. Every pop magnified. You love to hear that.
I like it. It's a good pitcher to have out there for that.
Here's the 2-2 now. The slider low at 81. Maybe the curveball. It would be the curveball because he doesn't have a slider. That's St. Collins. Fastball, curve, change, cutter for Ty Hensley.
Well, you don't always see the curve at 80, 81. You know, it's got some giddy up.
3-2, swing and a miss. Set down Greg Vaughn Jr. after walking a couple men here in the second inning. Still scoreless as we head to the home half after this on the USPBL Network.
They call it the 1,000-year flood. They were having homes and businesses flooded, and the roads were being washed out.
My entire house is going to be flooded. Okay, do you have a second story?
A lot of fear that we were going to lose a lot of people.
When we heard the police station was flooded, we immediately gave them our command center to operate out of.
Belfour was our savior. Sheldon and his team restored 25 of our businesses and more than 1,500 residences.
At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
At Priority Health, we are embarking on a new normal, embracing the changes needed to keep Michigan safe. While that may look a little different for everyone, Priority Health is here to help. with access to the care you need, the doctors you want, and the quality coverage you can afford. So you can get back to this, and this, safely, steadily, and with the smartest health coverage possible.
DTE Energy customers can get their share of huge lifetime energy cost savings. How? By using our website. The Oslin's new programmable thermostat saved them a bundle. And their new efficient furnace earned them a hefty rebate. All over Michigan, people like the Oslins are saving. Why not you? There are always new ways to save at dteenergy.com/saveenergy. DTE Energy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Jimmy John's Field. Zane Collins out for his second inning of work. These two pitchers have seen some action on the base pass, but no runs to their credit thus far. Jamison Espino on YouTube says they should let Zane Collins hit. My guy hits nukes. He's also batting .800 this softball season. Dave Page says Diamonddale is over by Lansing. So there you go.
Okay. Did not know that.
Griffin Holmes says you sounded pretty tall in reference to Dan getting his height on the air.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
Fly ball to left field. Chasing Grimes back. Spinning around out there. Looks up. Leaps. Did he make that catch? No. It's over the outstretched glove and gone.
You know, funny thing, Ashton Barzell was in my list of consideration for keys to the game just because I felt like I've really been liking his recent swings compared to early in the season. And I didn't pick him, but maybe I should have. He's starting to see the ball a lot better up there. We knew he was going to start producing and starting to turn the corner.
Off the bat at 98.7. Now Derek Kurtz try to follow that up. He's also been barreling balls up a bit better lately. This one chopped to Pontius for the first out. So Barzell with his first homer of the year. He came in with 3 doubles. He's the guy exit velocity-wise. It's averaging around 90 and above.
JJ doesn't feel like leaving the batter's box.
He wants to hit. Jody Hermes on Facebook says, I miss the road trips from Kentucky to see Austin Crutcher in his first season. Amazing field, great environment. Love the USPBL. This one popped up by Malik Blaze. Shifting down the first base line. Gray.
Nice catch.
Banging into the screen, and he collects out number 2. He's as good as it gets down the first base line. Austin Crutcher, a guy who saw some time in the Chicago White Sox organization after the USPBL. Last played in the Frontier League as well. As this one is in for strike 1. Seen Pat Adams leave us for the Joliet Slammers. He was here for 1 or 2 games at the beginning of this season for the Corns. Smith charging in. Gray off the bag, stretches back, and what a heady play by Zach.
Gray putting on a clinic the last 2, just with the last 2 hitters.
So the splits on this one, and then ranging all the way over for the second outs on the screen here. More when we get back on the USPBL Network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
When you are in need of air conditioning services, turn to the experienced professionals at McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration. Since 1970, we've been delivering high-quality air conditioning installation and repair services. Call for a free estimate today. Let us help you be cool and comfortable. For comprehensive HVAC services, contact McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration today.
At midnight, when the ATM cruelly devours your card. At 6 a.m., when your credit goes down the drain. Or at 10 p.m., when you realize your credit card went on vacation without you. Michigan First is here. With our 24-hour call center, online banking with live chat, mobile banking, and branches near you. Michigan First. You have our attention 24/7.
Jeremy Otto and Dan Griesbaum Jr. back with you here from Jimmy John's Field. Ty Hensley back on the mound for his third inning of work. We saw a pair of two-out walks by Ty to Nate Grise and Jalen Smith on 3-2 pitches, but other than that was able to get two strikeouts in the second to work out of the jam.
Certainly uncharacteristic of Ty, I would say, to walk guys back-to-back like that, but he could be working on certain things, mechanically, working on hitting certain spots, and not necessarily a cause for concern.
Talked to him before the game today, and he was hoping to get his front leg a little firmer on the landing. Something that he tries to kind of feel out in the bullpen in those side sessions.
Sometimes you get out to the mound and it just doesn't feel comfortable right away. The bullpen mound and the game mound are not always the same. The landing spot is different. The feel of it is different.
He said he felt really good coming into today, though, and that's, something for a guy who's had so many surgeries can mean a whole lot. I mean, regardless of his performance out there, sometimes you got to work through pain or soreness. As this one is down the first baseline and foul. Maselli, Pontius, and Mahalik, your Zach Hart agency, three men due up here in the third.
Maselli seems to get a pretty good look at him, just judging early on. He's laid off some close pitches, and he's taken a couple of nice swings.
0-1 is a curveball that remains high. Didn't have the normal spin on it or the break. Haffey in and off the line over at third base. Everybody else normal depth for this lefty is that one in for strike two.
That was a better one.
So the fastball 59% of the time for Hensley, 23.6% on the curve, and the change and the cutter 8% each. 1-2, swing and a miss. Fastball elevated that time at 93 for out number one.
So hard to catch up to that. You just saw a slow curveball that broke sharply, and you're thinking about that in the back of your mind, and then he throws you a fastball at 93 that's up. It's just so hard to catch up.
Here's Jordan Pontius now. Reached on the drop third strike the last time. Otherwise, it could have been a 1-2-3 inning for Ty. Fly out, strike out, and then the error. The fly out to Mahalik and the pop out to Zach Gray. One curveball in for strike two. And for a guy who's now considered a veteran, certainly in independent ball and minor league baseball overall, something like a drop third strike and, knowing that you could have two up and two down could get you. And after a start like, he had frustrating to some extent in that fourth inning, but not Ty.
Nope, he turned the page pretty good.
There's Blaze for the second out. Riley Mahalik now. Try to get things going. Here's the 0 for 1 with a fly out to right. St. Collins, the next half, will face the top of this Unicorns lineup. .92 inside. De La Cruz playing 2 steps onto the grass at second base here. 1-0 is outside. I talked to Jim Essien about moving Adam De La Cruz over to second. Part of it is certainly need in terms of what he has. That's also why you're seeing Ross Haffey at third base. Another part is Jim just seeing if he can handle that position. He knew he could. He just wanted to challenge him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it makes sense for the lineup right now. Haffey's certainly not going to play over there, and they already have Snyder at first, and this is probably just the best fit for them right now.
We saw Coley Curry come into the infield last weekend for a game. Or is that being in this week?
Good question. I want to say it was Sunday.
Yeah, I think you're right. They all kind of run together, especially when you're playing Sunday to and a turnaround on Tuesday as this one is in for strike one. And it will be that way obviously this week and then next week as well, Tuesday through Sunday with a doubleheader on Saturday.
And with the All-Star game on Friday.
High pop-up. Curry, Hurt, Blaze all going for it. And then it's Curry who collects it for out number 3. Cleanest inning we've seen from Ty thus far. Strikeout, ground out, fly out. Now time for JJ the Field General / the Water Boy. Brought to you by Michigan First Credit Union here today. Now down to Chelsea Estes.
Right, Golden Retriever JJ, the field general, takes a ice-cold water bottle and cold towel to one of the umpires. Also, this is brought to you by Michigan First Credit Union. Esther, the umpire, drinks some water. He gives the basket back to JJ, but JJ will not go without getting a treat. He's a very smart boy for not waiting until his treat. Look at him go. He's such a good boy. All right, you guys. We're just taking a look at him. Oh, he's still ready to play. He wants to use some Frisbee. Let's see. Is he going to nosedive? Is he going to catch it? And perfect catch, as always. He's flying in between some players out there warming up. He doesn't care. He just wants his Frisbee. I love watching JJ. Here we go one more time. Oh, he lost it. He lost it. Oh, that's what I would do if I was trying to catch a Frisbee. All right, you guys, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Get to some of your comments on Facebook and YouTube. Jody Hermes asked, are they still building another stadium across town? So never been an official plan for that. It certainly has been talked about. Maybe you can answer that a little bit better, Dan.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely part of the long-term plan of the league. I think, maybe at one time the league may have thought that by year 5 that would be in place, but things change, and definitely have looked at some different sites. Definitely want to pick the best spot for it, make sure it's the right choice. And of course, this situation with COVID this year probably delaying that process some, which only makes sense. But definitely part of the long-term process with the league. I think 1 or 2 of these 4 teams would probably move to that ballpark, and maybe adding a team as well at that point, another team or 2. So that's certainly in the works still, in the thought process, definitely.
Adam De La Cruz, Coley Curry, Nick Snyder, your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up here in the 3rd inning. De La Cruz sent a ball to center field. Vaughn Jr. started in, then realized, oh boy, I got to go back. Nearly caught it as it was off the tips of the glove. Was credited a double to Adam De La Cruz, and maybe that gets him going again. Struggled kind of since they moved him up to the leadoff spot. Hitting over 300 at one point last year. Came in today 250 after the single his last game. Maselli is there for out number 1. Ray Ahonen, public safety liaison for Belfort Property Restoration, is going to join us after this inning here on Firefighters Appreciation Night at the ballpark. So looking forward to talking to a veteran firefighter himself, and Ray is. Here's a swing and a miss to Coley Curry. Those guys stay in shape just like athletes do.
Absolutely.
0-1 is outside for strike 2 at 86. Nothing in 2. Swivels inside for a ball at 74. Went with the slider there. One, two, broken bat. Pontius has been sharp today at second base. And now Nick Snyder, the last shot. St. Collins would love a 1-2-3 inning here in the third. They wanted to see results out of him here today. One run back in the second inning off the bat of Ashton Bardzell was a leadoff home run to left center field, 98.7 off the bat. Corner infielders are hugging their respective lines. Second baseman and shortstop are towards their respective holes, and there's a swing and a miss by Snyder, and he'll try to reset as he's a little frustrated after that one. Larry Kubiak asks, is JJ eligible for player of the game? On YouTube. Swing and a miss by Nick Snyder. 1-2-3 breeze of an inning for Zane Collins and for Ty Hensley here. Really nice job by these pitchers to settle things down. And we'll see Ty Hensley come out for his 4th inning of work. Also able to see our Dunkin' Donuts race live here. We're waiting on Rhea Honan to come in, but we've seen this one be one of the more spirited races here at Jimmy John's Field so far. Here they come out of the gates.
I'm going with iced coffee.
It was a little spin out by hot coffee there. Iced coffee along the outside.
Iced coffee's got the legs. I mean, it's been consistent now. Just the stride of iced coffee is just blowing people away.
Look at hot coffee on the backside. He's going to go for second as Jonah kind of lagged.
That's a good spirited race.
Well, remember a reminder that America runs on Dunkin'. Visit your latest greatest Dunkin' Donut location around your house as well. 1-0 is our score in favor of the Utica Unicorns here, and Ty Hensley trying to keep it that way. Now happy to be joined by Rhea Honan, the public safety liaison, senior account manager at Balfour as well. Ray, great to have you here today.
It feels so good to be in Utica during America's game. What an evening. You guys picked just a fantastic day to have a ball game. Like everyone else, we wish we had 4,500 fans and families and sell out all the hot dogs and things like that, but it feels so good, a sense of normalcy, and we've got some great people in the crowd tonight, so grateful to be here.
Some firefighters certainly in attendance here today. We saw them honored on the field here in the first inning. And I think, what's lost in, everything that's going on in the world is that, we also have people like you and, people who are in the force, 22 years with West Bloomfield Fire Department, kind of leading that charge. These guys are affected just like anything else by everything that's going on in the world.
It's certainly true. When they took the oath, no matter how long ago it was, and for some of these guys it was decades ago, we didn't know on our watch, if you will, what exactly would go on. But they took the oath. They're loyal to the mission. They're going to stay the mission. These are good people that have families as well and responsibilities when they're off duty, and yet they still choose to come in and serve the public and do the job. So at Balfour, we really have a heart for serving the servants, and it takes its physical toll, but also the emotional toll. So we're very well of that. So far this calendar year, unfortunately, 47 firemen and 152 police officers have given their lives while in the performance of their duties, and we just can't forget that. We can't forget that. They will never experience their retirement and things like that. So our hearts ache for them. But we want to take good care of the servants and just be nice and do the right things right.
Xavier Warren and Josh Goulet, your two more due up here in the 4th inning. Brought to you by Zach Hart Agency. Zach Gray with a line out to start this thing. Ty Hensley looking for another quick inning. Little floater down the first baseline. Hensley just going to take it for himself here. So 22 years with West Bloomfield. Now you're obviously working for Balfour, kind of giving back and mentoring some firefighters, right?
I tell you, I walked into the West Bloomfield Fire Service January 1977, as you said so politely. Thank you. 22 and a half years there. Paramedic, delivered a baby on my 21st birthday.
Really?
I'll come back for that story. That's a whole different story. And then 7.5 years in Macomb as the chief, and been retired for almost 15 years now here at Balfour. Love my capacity because, again, we get to serve and help people in some of the darkest days of their life. So it's an honor, blessing, and a privilege to hold their hand and lead them down the path.
This one in for strike one on Josh Goulet. Strikeout back in the second inning for Josh. 2 up and 2 down against Ty Hensley here in the fourth. The 0-1 is down low. So tell us the baby story.
Well, I was an EMT. I was in paramedic school and the only EMT on duty. And that was even before the days of 911. You called 682 fire in West Bloomfield. A big gong went off in the station, and we listened in. And thank God she was having the baby right across the street because we got there. And, well, I didn't know I'd be telling this story, but we're going to dust off the cobwebs and get into it. So Sandy, first baby, 7 months pregnant, and was delivering the baby. So she delivered, and the baby was a little premature. We gave little Craig Stevens some oxygen, cut the cord, and got to Beaumont. And when the second floor elevator doors opened up, there's the entire OB staff applauding for the skinny little fireman that just delivered the baby in the field. So it was a great. There were many blessings, many challenges, but it's such a blessing to take the oath and wear the uniform of a first responder. It's a high calling, and I was so honored and privileged and blessed again to do it. I miss it at times.
And nothing, I guess beats on-the-job training, and that's on-the-job training at its best, right?
Well, that's the question, because I had the training. Right, I had the training. I had the tools, the equipment, well-trained. We're going to do this, and thank goodness everything turned out well. Now, not having the training and the education, that could have taken it in a different direction, but it worked out well. And it was an honor to run into him every once in a while at the high school.
So you still serve as a fire department chaplain, correct?
Yeah, Sterling Heights, Shelby Township, Madison Heights, and the Michigan Fire Inspectors. And those are large families. And it's another calling, candidly and most respectfully.
Fly ball to right field. Bardzell going over. And there's a couple loose fly balls here by Josh Goulet. That one a little closer.
So basically the definition of a chaplain is a minister in the workplace. And again, it's very challenging, very rewarding. I was thinking earlier that I've worn 7 uniforms in my life, and all with a certain set of responsibilities and obligations, right, and authority. But that uniform has been the most challenging and yet the most rewarding. The weddings and unfortunately funerals and things like that. But I'm grateful I've had, again, the training and the education, and walking into the fire service so many years ago. It's helped immensely.
This one down low, full count here on Josh Goulet. Hensley trying to go 1-2-3 for his second consecutive inning here. For those that don't know, what challenges does COVID bring to the fire department right now?
Oh, my goodness. And I guess we're still learning, right, depending on who you listen to. But it's still evolving, not as fast as it was in the beginning because it was new to everybody. And yet, when the alarm went off, you still had to go.
Right.
Does everybody go in? What's the level of PPE? Do we have the right PPE? Do we have enough PPE? And now we seem to do that, and the antibodies and the testing and everything like that. So the protocols change. There are, as I've said to several of my fire chief friends, on their watch as chief, they're rewriting several of our operations manual.
Right.
In particular, first response with COVID, because you can't take out a fire department staff. You just can't do it. So,
chatting here with Rhea Honan, longtime fireman here in the Metro Detroit area, fire chief as well of Macomb Township for 7.5 years. As this one is in for strike one on Grise. Goulet with a 2-out walk in the fourth. Ty Hensley and the Unicorns trying to hold on to this 1-0 lead. Here's a 0-1, low and away. Talked about it with my partner on the air here, Dan Griesbaum Jr., but firemen have to be almost like athletes in terms of the in-shape nature of the job, right?
Absolutely, and it's challenging. The demands of the job are ever increasing, and there are studies that show candidly and sadly that the average lifespan of a firefighter is cut by 8 years because of the toll it takes on the body, the adrenaline, the smoke, and of course we have PPE SOPs where you don't breathe smoke and things like that. But still, you're put in very harmful, potentially harmful situations. But, these are professionals that took the oath. They're well trained, they have the good equipment, and they know, there's a saying in the fire service, and it's very true. Risk a little to save a little, risk a lot to save a lot. If there's life involved, we're going in. We're going to do what we can do. And sometimes it's unfortunately because when the alarm goes off, it's already too late. That's very disappointing to the troops that are so charged and trained to make a difference, to make it better. And sometimes we're there and you pull them out of a fire or you hit Grandpa with the AED and he walks out of the hospital or whatever. It's extremely rewarding.
3-2 on Grimes with the runner moving. Here's a fly ball to left center field. Going back on that is Curry to the track, to the wall, and he's able to make that catch as he stretches all the way out there. Well, Ray, thanks so much for joining us here today. We appreciate everything you've done to serve the local area and everything that all these firefighters are doing these days as well.
It's an honor, and let's have some more games in downtown Utica. Thanks, guys. God bless you. Here's to the rest of the season. Good health to everyone.
Absolutely. To the bottom of the fourth we go after this here on the USPBL Network.
Catch the Chevy Malibu at your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Lease a 2020 Malibu 1LT for just $288 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
All right, everyone, it's time for the USPBL reading program. School of the Game brought to you by Hungry Howie's and CGC Water Company. Today's school we're recognizing is Michigan Math and Science Academy, and our teacher spotlight goes to Miss Heineken. Congratulations, you guys. Keep up that reading this summer and the rest of the school year. Hopefully you guys have a great school year back, virtual or in person. All right, you guys, Jeremy and Dan, hope you're reading too. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Chelsea. Well, if you don't know, Chelsea is a teacher herself. Go Cubs, UD Jesuit. Yeah.
Go ahead. Have your fun.
Did you beat UD the year you won the state championship, or what was
We did, yeah. It was in the, let me think, was it the regional final, I believe? Close game.
It's always been a pretty good matchup.
It has. More often than not, Grosse Pointe South will face UD Jesuit in the regional.
Yeah. It's kind of rotated, whether it's been in Grosse Pointe or Detroit. First pitch to Frankie Laska is down low at 73. Heavy dose of the slider here today as he starts with a first pitch slider in the fourth. What do you think of the fastball command from Zane Collins? A little bit better here today?
It looks like it to me.
Popped it into right. Goulet sliding, and he made that catch out in right field.
That wasn't necessarily the prettiest slide I've ever seen, but he got the job done.
Looks like Frankie Laska might get a looping base hit there. Pontius was pretty close to it as well. As we get a second look at our YouTube monitor here. Pontius racing, trying to make that floating catch. And he says, he caught that ball. I'm getting out of the way.
Just purely from a safety perspective, on a ball like that, you want your infielder to stay high, and you want your outfielder to go feet first. That will minimize the collisions to the highest degree. If they do hit like that, it should be less of a serious matter, whereas if they both stay up, they could collide heads. If they both dive head first, that could be really bad if they hit heads.
Melanie Covey comments on Facebook, missing walking tacos and loaded nachos and thirsty Thursday beer. Go Unicorns. Here's the 1-2. Inside, certainly a lot of theme night / traditions here at Jimmy John's Field that everyone would like to see.
Yeah, I remember when we were planning the promotional schedule, it was making my head spin, all the different things to try to remember.
Pontius in. He's been busy here today.
He has.
His third assist of the game. Here's Ashton Bardzell now. Home run back in the second inning for Ashton. Came around to score as well.
He's been the difference. One of only 2 hits on the day also, right?
Yep.
For either side.
Lead up double back in the first inning. First pitch slider.
Looked like he was going for it again there. That was the same swing, basically. He just missed it.
He tipped that one a little bit more than we've seen so far today, it seemed.
That could be. That could be the case.
Kind of slowed the arm speed down, and not sure if he didn't have a great grip on it.
He may have just tried to slow it, to slow it down on purpose. He's, facing someone who got to him last time. Just wanted to change the look.
This one low, 1-1. Derek Hurt would be next. Your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the fourth. 1-0 Unicorns because of this man right here.
Oh, got him.
Ouch. Or did it
Did
not?
that hit his bat first? What happened there?
Check the YouTube monitor.
Oh. I thought I misread that completely. I thought that got Bardzell first. I misread that.
This one fouled back to the screen. I think that was the previous pitch, Dan. Here's the right one.
Okay. I guess it didn't get him.
Sometimes when I play around with my tabs, the YouTube monitor isn't as in tune as we'd like it, so
yeah.
My apologies for that. This one inside. 3-2 on Ashton Bardzell. When you filter between the Facebook and the YouTube comments, that's what happens sometimes.
Well, no matter how you slice it, I missed it.
Here's the full count delivery. Popped it up foul. Some pretty decent battles of at-bats so far here today against both of these guys. I'm sure Ty Hensley will say he got to too many 2-2 and 3-2 counts to his liking.
Sure. Again, he's quibbling though. he's been pretty good.
3-2 line drive right to Maselli for out number 3. It's back-to-back 1-2-3 innings as well for Zane Collins. More when we get back on the USPBL Network.
1, 2, 3, Frank for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Detroit Mercy really models a value-based education. They focus a lot on service, which provides so many different experiences and opportunities that allows us to tie in everything we learn, how to apply that outside of the class.
There are a number of different programs that we're a part of to help bring the community back and revitalize the city of Detroit. Doing service with the community really helps bring Detroit Mercy outside of the gates and to everyone.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm here with the Eastside Diamond Hoppers manager, Paul Nochi. Paul, it's always a fun one between Zane and Ty. It's a close matchup with 0-1 with, you guys behind just by 1. It's okay. Yeah. The really good thing about having a broadcast is we reach a large audience, so lots of people can watch us. Right. There is a very important person watching you tonight, and you want to say something special to this one very important person.
Yeah. Mel Culpepper. Hey, Mel. Pull my mask back on.
He pulled his mask off for you. You're a very important person.
Yeah,
all right.
He's out in the San Francisco area, San Jose, and he was a very good friend of mine, and he was my #1 receiver. Used to throw them all the time. I think, how many touchdowns, Mel? Like 13 or something like that. I think it's only 1, but he says 13. But.
Well, Mel, you're a very important person. Thanks for watching, and let's see what happens, right?
All right.
Let's play ball. Jeremy and Dan, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Really good game going for Ty Hensley. Wink, wink. 3 walks to his credit so far. 2 of them he probably would have liked to have back after he retired the first 2 in the second. Here's a number. De La Cruz over to first. Got him.
Had to hurry a little bit there.
And they would have been all over me on Twitter for even the very subtle words I just said if that was broken up.
Just for mentioning that.
Greg Vaughn Jr. 0 for 1 today with a strikeout, swinging back in the second. First pitch to Greg pops the mid at 90. His high today, 93. Went in for strike one. We thought we'd see a little bit more of 94, 95, 96 here today from Ty Hensley, but some of that might be because of the walks. Came into this inning with 71 pitches on the ground, second base side. What a pick! Throws over to first for out number 2.
Oh, man. Living dangerously.
Little Ulay at second base. Now back to the top of the lineup in Anthony Maselli. Get a second look at it here in our YouTube monitor. Vaughn Jr. with a good swing and a pick by De La Cruz as he went down to a knee, threw it over to first, and he said, yeah, I had that all the way.
He meant to do that.
Haffey inside at third base. First pitch changeup.
That was a nice pitch.
In for strike one.
That looked every bit of a fastball out of his hand and coming up to the plate. Maselli thought he was right on it and just got way out in front of it.
Fly out strikeout. We have seen some of the better swings, even though they've been foul balls, and certainly the fly ball by Maselli today of any diamond hopper. Most of these outs have been in the infield. Quickly 0-2. Fly ball to left. Going to chase everybody in that direction. Boy, is Haffey moving as well. Hurts trying to wind around that corner, which is not easy to do. See that point right there where it kind of juts out?
Mm-hmm.
Because there really is no direct route unless you're playing well over in left field, right?
Right, yeah. It's very unusual that the way that the bullpen is built into the left field line, the way it is basically parallel to the left field line. It's not something you normally see unless you go way back to like Tiger Stadium or something like that.
0-2.
Oh, they're
left side of the infield, inching towards the dugout.
They were halfway to the dugout. Come on, Mr. Umpire, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt, right?
Try to come back right here. He's done it already this game. The 1-2 pitch, whittled off and foul at 94, the highest we've seen so far today. Maselli staying alive, the leadoff hitter for the Hoppers once again here tonight. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss at 78, and Hensley blows it by him.
That's a beautiful pitch. Do we have a spin rate on his curve for tonight? It's got to be 2,600-ish.
That one not so much. Not actually, that one was really good. 29.52 possibly.
Oh, okay. I underestimated him, I guess.
So more on that when we get back here on the USPBL Network.
Looking for a great rate on a new vehicle? Introducing our credit union's Drive promotion with rates as low as 1.89% and no payments for 90 days. Or refinance and save on your current auto loan with our 1% lower guarantee. You can now get pre-approved and close a loan remotely with our convenient online application process. Stop in today or visit ourcuonline.org/drive to drive away happy.
All the opportunities I've been given, I would not have been able to get at bigger universities.
Here, the professor cares about your success and is willing to work for it with you.
So much preparation for the future.
I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
All right, everyone, it's time for the Senior Spotlight, brought to you by Michigan School and Government Credit Union. Today we want to give a big congratulations to Brandon Curtis. who just graduated from Quesno High School. He always tries to do his best and is always willing to help others. He loves lacrosse and football and also loves hanging out with his girlfriend Mia and all of his friends. He's planning on going to pursue his education at Wayne State University. Congratulations, Brandon, and to all you very deserving seniors out there, good luck this fall. Congratulations. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Roger Kane on our YouTube feed says, big hello to Larry and John Kubiak and St. Clair Shores from Roger. Nice area in St. Clair Shores.
Absolutely.
It's where I hail from. Phil Thacker says, let's go Hoppers. Thank you for broadcasting the games. Definitely missing going to the ballpark this summer. Lou says, thank you for your service to all the firemen here today. We echo that. Jody Hermes asks, has there been a home run chase like the first season? Not a lot of home runs to begin this year. I think part of that has to do with the spring training-like atmosphere that a lot of these batters have had to deal with the first 3 weeks of the season because they really had not seen any live pitching before they jumped into the July 4th and 5th games.
Yeah, you got to think of this more like early May right now in a lot of ways. We will have a home run derby for you next Friday, though.
Yep. Eager to see who's going to be in that. I'm sure Haffey will be in the mix there. Joey Weimer, Xavier Warren. I tell you what, they hit BP homers, which is basically what the home run derby is.
Yep.
It's a show that they put on more often than not. Cameron Comer would be good in that probably too.
Gray.
Yep. Frankie Luska.
Sure.
We'll try to get that inside track on that. Not sure if they've decided upon who is going to perform in that. We're going to have the flight scope going for the home run derby, and Eric McKean says yes.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Get that exit speed.
Eric McKean, our fine sabermetrician, next to us. Here's the 3-2 pitch on the ground, third base side. Through! Good luck there by Hurt. Rolls around the first base bag, heading to second, and he's going to get there on a slide.
He's starting to pick it up a little bit with the stick. Gets around the bases pretty good.
His fourth double of the year, 9th hit overall. Here comes Malik Blaze. 0 for 1 with a pop out to the first base side. Bottom of the order today before that double by Hurt, a combined 0 for 3. St. Collins has been pretty good so far today. For the Unicorns, 1 run off 3 hits and no errors. No hits, no errors, and no runs on the other side.
It's a little pressure on Collins here, really. He's got to try to keep this a 1-0 game because he knows it's going to be tough for his club to score.
Through the thickets there of Xavier Warren. Probably a pass ball.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it just kind of hit the end of his glove.
If you're wondering, yes, we are still playing 7 here today, and Hensley's pitch count is in pretty good order at 81. So we could see him go down to the wire with some history this evening. Runners, or the fielders, are in now on the infield.
Yeah, they got to cut this runner. Got to cut this runner down at the plate. You can't get down 2-0 on tie right now.
For a guy who struggled in Malik Blaze, then an extreme risk, at least right now. 1-2 pitch down in the dirt. Good job to check his swing at a 75-mile-per-hour slider. It's been around 73, 74 consistently here today for Zane Collins. Coming off a start where he pitched 4 innings and gave up 2 runs, both of them earned. Walked 1 more than he struck out. 3 walks to 2 Ks. 2.81 ERA for the 23-year-old right-hander. Or left-hander, I should say. 2-2. Up the box. That's danger zone for Collins, and the second run will come in.
He spun around like Charlie Brown on that one. I mean, that ball was ripped right past him.
94 miles an hour, and Malik Blaze says, take that for playing the infield in. Because even for an infielder, reaction time has to be extremely good. And boy, we get a second look at that. That's whistling right by his chin.
Yep.
So 2-zip in favor of the home Unicorns here today. A little bit more insurance for Ty Hensley.
Have you ever seen a pitcher take one pretty hard right back at him?
Personally,
in person.
I don't think so. Or yeah, actually, I have, and it might have been Jack Ferguson in my college days covering Madonna.
Really?
In the conference tournament, I believe that was him, because Ferguson was one of the top pitchers. Took him out of the game in the first inning when they really needed him. Wow. This one, a liner to center.
Did you get it in the face?
I don't believe it was the face. We'll have to check with them. But that was a series, if you will, for the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference Championship down at Indiana Tech. They had one of the better prospects in the league playing for them at that time. So Madonna had to play 2 games in one day for a championship. Had to win one to play the next. And
sure.
I want to say Ferguson got hit in the first game of the doubleheader.
Oh, boy.
That was my senior year over there.
Never been a real fan of conference tournaments in baseball, personally. I just think it's such a crapshoot. It doesn't necessarily produce the best team, in my opinion.
That certainly can happen. The college level, I mean, it's all about arms. But, I mean, you're down to your 4th and 5th arm by the time, sometimes, in the last championship game, depending on how you pitch it. But
oh, definitely.
I mean, even you as a high school coach and your dad, I mean, you start pitching your 2nd or 3rd arm, even if it's a, quote, down opponent, is the moment you lose in a tournament, then you're sitting at home.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's any better way to do it in high school, but it's Mick McCabe, the veteran high school sports writer, has often said that the high school baseball state championship is the toughest championship to win in all of sports, and there's certainly some wisdom to that, because single elimination baseball is really shouldn't be a thing in a lot of ways. You know, baseball isn't really a game that you should have to play single elimination.
1-2. Did that hit the cleat of De La Cruz? Advancing to second base here is Blaze with 1 out, and they're going to keep him there, so apparently not.
He tries to throw that breaking ball down and in on righties quite a bit. And, you know, he's been missing on occasion with it. But he's missing in the right direction. You know, he's not leaving it up.
Two on the ground, third base side, ranging over is Smith. Gathers, and that will keep Blaze at second base for the 2nd out there. Coley Curry, the last shot here in inning number 5. Line drive up the box. Here's Pontius. Can't get it. Ranging around third base is Malik Blaze. And coming home for the 3rd run. It's another AAA insurance run here in the 5th inning. All big ones to make it even more comfortable for Ty Hensley.
He didn't get much of that ball, but he got enough. Pulled his hands in, stayed inside that ball, and forced it into center field. Did the job. That's a big RBI. In a lot of ways, feels like it puts it out of reach when you've got Hensley on the mound.
Went in for strike 1. Chopped on the ground foul here for Nick Schneider. 0 for 2 with 2 Ks against Zane Collins so far here tonight.
I think he got him on the slider both times. We'll see how he attacks him here in a 2-strike situation this time. I'd say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you throw him a fastball, maybe show one away and then come back with the breaking ball again.
0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. St. Collins gets a big strikeout to strand Coley Curry on first base here. So a double and a single, plated around by another single by Coley Curry as well. More after this in a 3-0 game in favor of the Unicorns on the USPBL Network.
The Weingarts family is honored to be celebrating 75 years of helping families like yours with your lawn equipment needs. While the equipment has changed, our grandfather's founding values and commitment to quality still drive our business.
We carry top brands like Exmark, Toro, Honda, Cub Cadet, and more. See the full lineup at Weingarts.com. Whether it's new equipment, parts, or service, we work to earn your trust in each of our 6 locations.
From our family to yours, thank you for letting us serve you.
Weingarts, everything from lawn to snow.
Time to check the USPBL standings, brought to you by Scott's here this evening. The Unicorns and the Hoppers, the class of the league at the top, but I tell you what, the Mammoths starting to put it together. They just need a little bit more offense, and maybe that will come because of what we have seen, in this tryout and how they distribute some of those arms and bats. We understand there's 7 arms and 7 bats in total that they're going to sprinkle across the league. Yes, we're still going to see the taxi squad, but in the end, by the beginning of September, they kind of want rosters to be set to create that playoff push. Everybody get settled in and get their competition up.
Well, that'll make it easier for us to remember what's going on, won't it?
A little bit, yeah.
We often get confused about who's playing for who on which night, and I must say I'm looking forward to set rosters. I think at some point.
We know one thing: Ty Hensley is a Utica Unicorn,
yes,
and he is leading them to a pretty elite company as he marches out for the 6th inning. 81 pitches so far by Hensley, and all he's given up is 2 walks in the 2nd. Listen closely, and 1 walk in the 4th.
Check your box scores, people.
4-3 ground out. Fairly routine to De La Cruz. He had to come in to begin the 5th. Not at all routine, in a sharply hit liner / ground ball back to De La Cruz. On one knee, he flipped it over to first, and the strikeout to Maselli ended the threat. And a first pitch strike to Pontius. He could have had this Diamond Hoppers team 1-2-3 back in the 1st if it wasn't for the drop 3rd strike when Pontius reached. Here's the curveball. First strike 2.
Fastball in, hammer away. That's tough arsenal.
0-2. Popped him up. Blaze and De La Cruz. And it's De La Cruz for the first down. Riley Mahalik today is 0 for 2. Fly out to right, fly out to center. Got to keep on your toes defensively with history on the line. First pitch to Mahalik outside.
If I had a plus fastball and I were facing Mahalik, I think I'd try to climb the ladder with it. He seems a little bit stronger on the low ball. Kind of holds his hands low, sets them low, and tries to elevate a little bit.
1-0, little pop fly. Haffey charging over to the 3rd base dugout and can't get it.
Overran it, really.
And Blaze was coming in on the backside as well, but couldn't quite get that one. Haffey's been bolting on some of those pop flies.
It's a lot of territory to cover over there. It's almost like being an outfielder. He was so worried about getting all the way over there, he actually ran by it.
Here's the 1-1, low and inside. Two and 1 on Riley Mahalik here. There it is.
There you have it. Take
a
close
clean
look.
line. Blaze deep at shortstop. De La Cruz even deeper at second base. 2-2 is fouled back. This is the deepest we've seen De La Cruz play today.
Mahalik giving him a pretty good battle here.
Everybody else in the outfield pretty much straight up. Hensley likes the first call he sees. Curveball that didn't snap downward. It's going to lead to a 3-2 count. We saw quite a few 3-2 counts early. 2 of them actually in the 4th as well. They led to both walks in the 2nd. Here's another one. Another high fly ball. Hurts coming in just into foul territory for out number 2. Get your popcorn. He's 4 outs away. Zach Gray 0 for 2 today. Pop out to second base and a line out to left.
It's a big hurdle here for
yes.
Ty en route to this, what he's trying to finish up here. This is Zach Gray's going to be a big hurdle. Guy who's a tough out every time. Doesn't strike out a lot for a power hitter. Doesn't chase a lot.
Pitch number 91 at 92 miles per hour is outside. His highest output in terms of pitches was a couple outings ago. 1-0 is outside. And that was 102 back on July 23rd. I guarantee they're not going to want to push it.
No, they won't.
So it might come to a tough decision here.
It could.
2-0 is high and away. 3-0.
If he's going to turn it over, he's got a couple of pretty good teammates down in the pen.
Comitas is available again here today. He's been really good. Nolan Clenny, Austin DeCar. 3-0 is low and outside for the 4th walk of the game for Ty Hensley. Clearly frustrated after that one. And now Xavier Warren trying to snap his 0 for 2. A pair of ground balls to the right side so far today.
He's generally handled Warren pretty well when he's faced him in the past.
Xavier's started to get a good swing going, hitting 250 coming into play today. A pair of doubles and a home run. Had one of those doubles and the home run last night. He earned our player of the game. Talked with Chelsea Estes. 0-1 curveball remains high. So just not the same snap that we were seeing on that maybe in the last inning.
It's just a little less consistent. We've seen a couple of good ones this inning, but hasn't been as consistent.
Now the 1-1. Checked his swing. And he did go.
Yeah, I thought he did.
One and 2 on Xavier Warren. Josh Goulet, your Zach Hart agency man on deck. Now the 1-2. Checked it again, but tipped into the glove there. Ty Hensley gets another strikeout and a big smile as he heads off the mound. We'll see if he comes out for the 7th, trying to punch some history here at Jimmy John's Field.
Last year, Belfour did 114,000 different jobs around the world. We've been to floods, fires, tornado sites, earthquakes, where people have lost everything. Yes, your homes can be rebuilt, and yes, your businesses will be rebuilt. But most importantly, your lives will be rebuilt. There's nothing that we cannot fix, and we believe that.
It's on pictures.
To me, that's Belfour. At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Time to take a peek at your upcoming games. Brought to you by Motor City Casino Hotel. It's Friday already. What? The Hoppers and the Beavers tomorrow at 7:05. Then another double dip. It'll be Jake Horowitz with you on Saturday for 5:30 start. 5:20 on the air here on the USPBL network. Well, Ty Hensley sits and waits. I'm sure you will have a conversation with Jim Essien. He's at 99 pitches. I think you put him back out there, but if it's a longer inning, if he walks maybe one, you might have to pull the string. We'll see.
What was his high? 102?
102.
Yeah, I think he goes back out and just see how it goes from there. Looks like we got Raymond Martin here. Done a nice job out of the pen for the Hoppers in the past.
Hoffman Dental pitching change here. Comes in for Zane Collins. Collins gave up 2 runs in the 5th inning. It was a leadoff double followed by the leadoff single that plated the double, and then the 2-out RBI single by Coley Curry. Raven Martin, 14 innings on the bump, his 11th appearance, holds a 1.93 ERA, just 3 runs given up, all of them earned. The walks have been the problem slightly, 10 walks to 9 Ks. But other than that, he's looked pretty good so far.
Yeah, he hasn't been hit. The walks, as you mentioned, have been a little bit of an issue, but he hasn't been hit around at all.
Frankie Luska, Ross Haffey, and Ashton Bardzell, your Zach Hart agency man on deck to begin this 6th inning. Luska with a walk back in the 1st and a line out to right in the 4th. Haffey 0 for 2, Bardzell 1 for 2. He was the reason why the Unicorns had the early lead and have held that the whole game with the home run to left, the solo shot. Raven Martin, 2-seam, 4-seam, change-up curveball slider. We've seen him go out there for a spot starts as well this season. Max is out at about 90.5 on the fastball.
That is a major league pop-up right there.
It is. Maselli is glad to collect out number 1. So coming up against Ty Hensley, he'll have 6, 7, 8. The Hoppers, unlike the Unicorns today, have 3 men on the bench. Only 1 man on the bench for the Unicorns. You have Shoemaker, Andrew McCoy, and Brett Elmer available if Paul Noce wants to try to switch it up.
A couple of left-handed bats in there could definitely make some sense.
Here's the 1-0 outside. In a league where you're struggling to get a lot of players just because of the situation, at least to start the year, lefties, not necessarily on the mound were a problem, but I think lefties in the hitting department were a little bit of a bare cover. Here's the 2-0 outside, 3-0. But last night, 4 in a row, if you count Xavier Warren as that as a switcher at the top of Von Joshua's lineup.
Yep. He may, as time goes on, choose to stagger him a little bit just to create a little better balance throughout the lineup, but not a bad group of guys to have at the top.
3-0 in there for strike 1. We are seeing Xavier Warren play for the Unicorns here tonight. Or the other side, I beg your pardon. Diamond Hoppers. So he's kind of been a primary Beaver for the last 5 or so games as Haffey coaxes a walk here. So Hensley at 99 pitches. Obviously you don't want to see this inning go too long, but do you mind if it goes a little bit deeper in terms of the batters?
I think I want to get right back. You're saying if I'm Hensley?
Correct.
I want to get right back out there. I've got 3 runs already. That's enough. I just assume they hit into a double play here if I'm him.
Ashton Bardzell Line out to shortstop his last time out. First pitch off the plate at 88. Gets spin on both the two-seamer and the four-seamer, even more actually than his curveball on average. Off the glove outside, and Warren is able to scramble. And Haffey, not too fleet of foot over at first base, so he'll stay put. .20 is popped up down the first base line. Not a room to run, but got to have track speed to get that one down.
That's a long way to go.
Lance Robinson comments on Facebook and says, game on here, go Unicorns. Kansas City crushing the Chicago Cubs on television. Looks like a little double baseball action there for Lance Robinson. We favor that.
Yeah, it's not bad. Leave our audio on, hopefully.
Right? Especially for the next half. You're going to want to listen and watch. Here's the 2-1. In there for strike two. Derek Hertz on deck. Your Zach Hart agency man on deck. You're a double back in the 5th inning. And that is the reason why. You look at that EDH line to the middle in between there. That H means hit, people. Outside for ball 3. Malik Blaze 1 for 2 tonight with a single back in the 5th. Full count delivery is popped up foul. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring the call here tonight from Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan. So glad you could tune in on your Thursday evening. Honor these fine firefighters here today. Brought to you by Belfour Property Restoration here tonight. The full count delivery again. Liner and 8 up Maselli at shortstop.
Barzell continuing to swing a better bat lately. Seeing the ball well.
Six hits now on the board for the Unicorns as they ruled that a base knock for Ashton. Derek Hurt trying to continue what he's doing. Now 8 for, or make it 9 for 37. He was 8 for 35 coming into today. Notched his 4th double of the season. Back in the 5th inning, came around to score. That was to lead off the inning. St. Collins delivers one outside at 88. A 1-0 way outside is Xavier Warren. Goes out of the crouch. So runners on first and second here with 1 out. Here's the 2-0. Popped him up foul. This inning a little bit more elongated again as the bats catch up. Here's the 2-1, high and away. Raven Martin, your Hoffman Dental pitching change coming in for Zane Collins here in the 6th inning.
Couple more base runners here and start to get into the territory where Ty Hensley might be sitting around a little bit too long.
Here's the 3-1, low and away, and that loads the bases here with 1 out. Malik Blaze 1 for 2 today with a single back in the 5th and a pop out in the 2nd. Paul Nochi, Xavier Warren talking things over here. We had our Jeffrey Rate ruling of the game back in the 6th inning. Ty Hensley trying to fan Xavier Warren. He ended up doing so, but for strike 2, Xavier had a check swing, and that was called around by the base pass umpire in the middle of the diamond at that point for strike 2. But a big K by Ty to leave the history books open as we wait and wait here in the 6th inning. It flashbacks a little bit to last game, not quite to that venture yet. And Dan, if we see a 14-batter inning by the Unicorns, he might not come back out.
Yeah, he may not come back out, although there's nobody getting loose right now, so.
Maybe he will. But we're still far from that.
Yeah.
This is batter number 5.
A couple more base runners they may think about getting Clenny or somebody like that going.
0-1 is on the corner for strike 2 at 85. Haffey on third base, Ashton Bardzell on second, and Derek Hurd over at first. Walk, single, walk. Has given him some traffic on the base pass here. 0-2 is blocked in the dirt.
Considering nobody's scored yet this inning, it sure feels like a long inning already.
It does. Gray and Smith in at their positions on first and third. 1-2. Just outside at 69 for ball 3. Big pitch here, the 2-2 outside. Full count with nowhere to put him. Heavy dose of fastballs from Raven Martin as he comes in for Zane Collins here in the bottom of inning number 6. Broken bat, shattered wood there, turned to second, over to first. No!
Oh, that's what they needed. They needed a punch right there.
Another Jaffe Rate ruling here says Haffey is safe at home plate. Bardzell moves to third. Derek Hurts out at second base for the second out, but Blaze safe with the fielder's choice over at first. Turn it to the bottom of the order now, and Jordan Finney. Runners on first and third, and Xavier Warren.
It's a nice block.
Staying in front of that one. What's the key to blocking drills? Is it fielding a live pitcher, or is it the pitching machine that helps with that too?
Well, it's sort of a step-by-step type process. The first thing you got to talk about is technique. You know, how to get your glove down to cover the 5-hole, get your throwing hand, your right hand behind the glove, and tuck your chin. You know, that type of technique is the first thing, you know, with the young catchers especially.
1-0 is blocked again.
Nice demo there. And then after that, it's, you know, you can progress to something like a pitching machine, but really you don't know that you're there until you're working with a live arm, because until you're able to read that ball in the dirt, and you can't just throw them to the catcher in the dirt every time, because that sort of defeats the purpose. You have to mix in some strikes too, and they have to learn to recognize when the ball is down.
2-0 hits the glove at 86 for strike 1. Two and one on Jordan Finney. Top of the order due up, and Adam De La Cruz, your Zachart agency man on deck. The 2-1. Liner to right. Goulet is going to watch it Screen just to the left of JJ's doghouse down there. Now the 2-2 to Finney. Swing and a miss. Raven Martin able to get out of the inning with only one run given up. The one-out walk comes around to score in the end here. And Ty Hensley will come out for some history here after the Metro Detroit Chevy race.
Those Motor City wheels are messing around, waiting to get the call to go downtown.
Holy Hot Rods, it's race time. Chevy Detroit wheels, start your engines.
Who you got?
Petey Pickup. Not sure why, just feeling it.
Petey Pickup is going to come out last here, but that usually doesn't matter.
No. He came out really hot the last time and stopped for
pit stop.
Yeah, it looked like they were washing his windows or something.
I don't know if he got the infield dirt kicked up against him here. They all take the same route today. That's not usually the case, especially lately.
Yeah, this is feeling like a cruising Gratiot kind of a outing so far. Oh.
Ooh.
Little headbutt. Petey's alive.
Petey trying to take the outside approach. There might be another crash here.
He's getting cut off right now. Oh, he's picking it up.
How about it?
Make the turn, Petey. Make the
wow,
traded some
another
paint.
bump.
Oh, that was brutal. Oh man.
Corey Vett gonna swing around to the first base side.
Should have bet him to place.
Your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers mascot runner here today.
Fan of the game is Mr. Ray Belfort himself. It's Firefighter Appreciation Night. You got your fan club down there looking at you, rooting you on.
Look at how enthused they are.
I know, now they're not. Now they're quiet.
We fed them and everything. They're fine.
They're like kids, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty much.
So what's it like to be able to be here with all of these guys on Firefighter Appreciation Night watching a baseball game?
Well, it's perfect. It's so good to be back. We obviously wish, like everybody else, there was 4,500 fans here and families walking around and kids with mustard on their face. But it's good to be here in Utica, Jimmy John's Field, the United Shore Professional Baseball League with a bunch of America's heroes. They're humble. I love each and every one of them. It was an honor to wear the uniform for 30 years. And we're so grateful to be here. And thank you for recognizing us. Thank you so very much.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's our honor. And you know what? I'm going to give you this awesome Chevy in the D hat to add to your collection. So how many hats do you have in your collection?
Is Kathy listening? About 200.
Now we're going to make it 201. All right, here's your Metro Detroit Chevy dealer fan of the game, Ray Belfort. Thank you so much. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Josh Goulet, line drive to center field. Curry coming in.
That made me a little nervous, I'll be honest with you.
Well, there's nobody's saying that history is ever easy, and there's often good plays that are attributed. Ty Hensley today, listen up, 4 walks, that's it. 2 outs away from stamping his name into the USPBL books here. First pitch to Grimes is up high. Grimes and Smith, your Zach Hart agency, 2 men due up here in the 7th. 1-0 in there for strike 1. So came in with 99 pitches. Good biting pitch there. That almost looked like a slider off the hand of
I wouldn't be
Hensley.
I wouldn't be opposed to him throwing about 5 more hammers and just being done with it.
In there for strike 3.
There we go.
He's 1 out away and 3 strikes away. Here comes Jalen Smith now. Walk back in the second inning. Ground out in the fifth. Smith now 9 for 53. Strike one established.
You might be taking my advice.
That one at 79. He's locked in right now. Rocks back. Here's the 0-1. In there for strike two.
I think he goes with the same pitch, but maybe a little further away.
Now the 0-2 pitch. Just outside with the curveball that nearly hits 3,000s on the rotations per minute here. Reading the 1-2 pitch is Ty Hensley. A little blinder to right field coming in. Barzell makes the catch, and Ty Hensley has history here tonight. A 7-inning no-hitter, and I don't think he knew it.
I love it. He's locked into his routine.
The fourth no-hitter in USPBL history here tonight.
He was pitching his ball game, doing what he wanted to do, and accomplish what he wanted to accomplish out there, and I think you're absolutely right. I don't think he even realized the situation. Good for him.
That's fun stuff. Can you guess who our player of the game will be?
We may change it if Ty Hensley celebrates for too long and we can't get him for an interview, but I think it's otherwise I think it's going to be Ty Hensley. You know, the funny thing is, I don't know that he was appreciably that much better than a lot of his other outings. You know, it's just the way that it laid out. He was able to complete the job this time. He's stretching himself out a little bit. He's able to throw a few more pitches now. But he's had that type of stuff several outings so far this year. And he's really, to say he's ready to take the next step to, you know, the advanced level of affiliated ball, I think is an understatement.
Well, Chelsea Estes will check in at the United Shore media desk with, I'm sure, Ty Hensley.
I hope so.
More after this on the USPBL Network. Don't go anywhere.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorn. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
all the opportunities I've been given, I would not have been able to get at bigger universities.
Here, the professor cares about your success and is willing to work for it with you.
So much preparation for the future.
I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
On your right is the Statue of
We really were fortunate to get out when we did. Losing our family photos, our wedding pictures, can't replace it.
Can you imagine losing everything you've got? You realize that it's the little things in life that matter. Things that they thought were damaged and thrown away, all of a sudden they magically reappear. And you see the human spirit come back.
It's our pictures.
To be able to put you safely back in your home matters to us. People matter. People count. At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
At Priority Health, we're embarking on a new normal, embracing the changes needed to keep Michigan safe. While that may look a little different for everyone, Priority Health is here to help. With access to the care you need, the doctors you want, and the quality coverage you can afford. So you can get back to this, and this, safely, steadily, and with the smartest health coverage possible.
It is time for the end of the game recap brought to you by Auto Lab, and well-deserved. Ty is the guy yet again. He is for the Utica Unicorns because I can finally say it. He threw his no-hitter tonight. This is the fourth in USPBL history. The last one, the third one, was a combined no-hitter, and you were also part of that. I mean, come on, dude. That is fantastic. Describe to me what's it like.
No, it was a fun game. I honestly had no idea. I'd probably say this is probably the worst game I've pitched this year, just like off of like stuff-wise and everything. I didn't really have very good command or anything, and I just got bailed out a couple times, a couple fly balls that got caught. So
your team's mates had your back the whole time. I mean, it's the no-hitter. It's like that thing you can't speak of. And to be honest with you, I didn't even realize it myself until later on in the game. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna happen. Fingers crossed, and it happened. You know what? So this win brings your team to 10-5. You guys were tied with the Hoppers. You know, and the Hoppers are a team they're gonna be going back and forth with you guys. So your team had your back. You guys are really kind of come together as a team. So what is working for you guys, and how can we move forward, keeping that momentum so those Hoppers don't get it hop and catch up with you guys? I had to.
that was cheesy. No, I think just a lot of the guys are starting to get kind of comfortable and just kind of, let their game kind of speak for itself and just have fun out there. I think that's the name of the game. Like we just kind of get away from it the more, the older you get. But no, it's just I think you're just kind of seeing everybody just letting their ability kind of shine a little bit. So they're a good team. They had a lot of good at bats. They pitch the ball well. They feel the ball well. I mean, we just gotta keep staying sharp.
Right, staying sharp. It's always fun to watch you and Zane. I feel like I'm always here for the Ty-Zane matchup. And it's always a close game. You guys really have a good matchup against each other. But today you came out on top with a no-hitter nonetheless. So again, Ty Hensley is the Autolib player of the game. Congratulations, my man. Jeremy and Dan, back to you guys.
Thanks, Chelsea. 7 innings, no hits, no runs, 4 walks, 7 Ks, 109 pitches, 26 total batters faced, 10 flyouts, 5 groundouts. And the out sinking to right field, Ashton Bardzell will never forget. He has caught a Ty Hensley 7-inning no-hitter here tonight.
In a game where he hit a home run, too.
Yes. Ty will, with a big pat on the back for him probably, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you can get him to sign one of the game balls for him or something. But terrific night. You know, he's been dominant this year, and his stat sheet is starting to look ridiculous, and he's certainly ready to move on. You know, if this were a normal baseball season, I don't think we would have even had him for this start, frankly. You know, I think someone would have taken him into affiliated ball, and that could still come. That could still come, especially if he keeps pitching like this. He couldn't really look much better than he has.
Garrett Chrisman and Noah Goetze scheduled to go on the bump for the Beavers and the Hoppers tomorrow. 7:05 first pitch. We'll be on the air at 6:50 here on the USPBL Network. Great job by everybody here today. Our director, PJ Kradowski, our producer and graphics man, Jeremiah Hergott, to his right. My broadcast partner today, Dan Griesbaum Jr., Chelsea Estes down in the field. My name is Jeremy Idle. See you tomorrow. Watch the replay if you didn't see this one all the way through.